Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first Research Practices 2022 recording. So today we're just going to cover some basics about the topic. I'll introduce myself for those of you who don't know me, and we'll also go through one of the first activities that you need to complete before our next lesson. So, lesson 1. So we're doing the course introduction and we'll be doing some brainstorming today. So our lesson intention is to be able to understand what research practices is and its purpose, and you'll also need to be you'll also be able to identify 2 to 5 topics that you'll be brainstorming that you could potentially do for a research project. You will be expected to submit your brainstorming. If the link on DayMap doesn't work, you can just send it via email. My email is in one of the following slides. And you'll need to answer the questions in the form of an exit slip, just so I can double check understanding and you can answer any questions you have. So about me, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Farron Henderson, or Miss Henderson. My email is just down there at the bottom of the screen, so farron.henderson254@schools.sa.edu.au. I'm 34. These are my 2 children, so my youngest Frankie and my oldest Anara. I'm a coffee and dark chocolate addict. I'm a nerd about everything. Metalhead, and I also teach home economics and food hospitality, as well as Year 8 English this year, actually. Now, our new research project and practices teacher, Mr. Brook, so Alex Brook, there's his email at the bottom of the screen. He is off for a little bit of time at the moment, so please do not contact him with any questions. Please come directly to me. When he's back, I'll let him introduce himself. So just the nuts and bolts. So it is a stage 1 topic, so it's worth 10 credits to go towards SACE. The whole point of this is to explore a range of research approaches and skills, and it is specifically designed for you to be successful in research project, which of course is the stage 2 or year 12 version of this topic. There are 4 summative assessments that must be completed, so we're going to we're going to actually try and get through this whole subject in a little over a term and a bit, just so we can really crunch on with the research project, because I think that'll be a lot more beneficial for all of us involved. So there's the 4 different tasks, plus there will be some little formative assessment pieces. So this is the things that we'll ask you to do in class. Please know that everything we ask you to do, there is a reason for our madness. Most of this will actually be used as part of your research project. So if you do anything, keep it. Do not lose it, because I can guarantee we can fit it in somewhere. In terms of general expectations, respect yourselves and others. Appreciate and respect that everyone works differently and success looks different for everyone. And if you have questions, please make them relevant to clarify your understanding in terms of anything we have discussed. The language will probably be one of the main barriers that you will have to overcome to start with. So when we come back to face-to-face learning, we'll be doing some activities specifically around understanding the language. So deadlines, we do ask that you need to be very respectful of deadlines. They will be, we're expecting everyone to upload them via DayMap this year. So there'll be an assignment link on the research practices class, and what you do is you just click on it and you can upload your file. Failure to meet the deadline without consultation with either Mr. Brook or myself will result in communication home and loss of break time to catch up, alternatively even after school study. So please communicate. All your work, as I said, needs to be done digitally and submitted via DayMap. If you know your SACE ID, that needs to be on there. If you don't know your SACE ID, we'll get it. And you also need to have your name at this point in time. We are very actively discouraging people sending work via email or messages via DayMap, simply because work can get lost, or it might be wrong versions or anything like that. So please send it by a day map. So to maximise the benefit of this course, we're going to spend, so the first 2 weeks of online learning is just focusing on developing your topic and questions for research project. It's really important that if you had to have at least one topic that you're really keen on doing to make this course beneficial at all. Otherwise, if you're just doing the work, it's not really applicable when we move over to research research project. So we really want people to be, even if for the first couple of weeks we work on maybe 2 topics at a time, if you can't narrow it down, and then after another week or so, you should be starting to really go, no, this is what I want to do. There will be a cut-off date for when you're allowed to change your topic, simply because it gets too hard for people to do the work. So today, what you're going to do is some brainstorming, and then showing that brainstorm either via diagrams or on a Word document or however you choose to do it. You can do this by hand. What I ask is that if you're doing it by hand, please take photos of it or scan it, depending on your access to technology, so that we can still see what you're doing and what you're actually liking. So things that I like people to think about is, what is it that you like? What is it that you're passionate about? You can build something, you can restore something, and you can also look at things as a career path, or you can investigate anything that you might find useful or interesting. So please keep in mind that you will need to, that you will be researching this topic for the next 8 months or so. But in saying that, if you finish research project early, then you're finished. All we care about is getting you from A to B, and that you're achieving the standard and the grade band that you want. So that's where we're really coming in from that. So we'll work off you. So if you're just one of those people that just want to get by, you just need to get a passing grade, then we can work with that. If you're someone that wants to achieve a higher grade band, then we can certainly work with that as well. Other ideas that you can have, that you can think, things that you can think about is so things that you do in school. So it might be subjects that you're particularly interested, or any kind of extracurricular activities outside school. So hobbies, sport. Maybe it's your part-time job, or maybe you do some volunteer work or other interests. Personal experiences. So something there might be around. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want, or you have travelled and you had a negative experience. Maybe you want to talk about Australian visas. There's a whole different things there that you can kind of unpack, and it can be positive and or negative experiences as well. You can expand on. There's also contemporary issues, which includes things like Black Lives Matter, global warming. There's also, you could do politics if you're really interested. Just we'll need to really narrow it down, but at the moment we are thinking of those really broad umbrella topics. Environmental concerns, as I said, you can do global warming. You could do, you could even look at the coral reefs. You could do creative arts. So when we talk about producing making something or building something, you can make a song or write a song. You can make a short film. Maybe you want to do like a claymation or stop motion animation. You can make a piece of artwork, whether it's painting, sculpture, whatever it is. You can do all of that. You can do things that you like to do, or just focus on your passions in general. I've had conversations with people, and it's been everything from Black Lives Matter to black holes to you might want to, maybe you want to make a piece of clothing or an outfit. Maybe you want to start like a fashion label and start designing children's wear. All this is completely possible. The thing is to pick something that you are genuinely interested in. So the topics tend to fall kind of into 4 different categories. So what we're going to talk about, so there's the process, so this could be anything from building a veggie patch, designing a kitchen, creating a new type of biscuit, rebuilding an engine, how to improve your score in basketball, all those things. So when you're talking about a process, you need to consider like anything that you might need. So in terms of construction or location, or if it's anything specific. So this could costs, if you require parts, the effects of it, any kind of procedural steps, any kind of improvements that you think could happen. So these are things to think about in that regard, especially if you're looking at building something from scratch that we don't, that you won't necessarily have access to the products at school or the equipment, because you will be expected to supply that yourself. It is not a school thing for us to supply you. It could be subject related. So, for example, you might want to do, you have a keen interest in photography, or you're history related. So you could do like the Vietnam War, you can do patterns in art. Previously, I've had students do like historical events. So I had my A student last year did his paper on the Armenian genocide. And I'll be right back.
All right.